Thank y'all for having me. It's really exciting to be here. Like Carlos said, the last time I presented with the team, I think we were all virtual. So it's really great to see all the faces in person, a lot of familiar faces. So just really honored to be here and present for y'all today. I will try to not put you to sleep. It's a rough Monday after the time change, especially if you got little kids, because my kids were up till 9:30 last night after spring break. So they're complaining they got to go to school today. And so I'm sure some of you out there are feeling that pain as well, but we'll keep it as exciting as we can. So like Carl said, I'm our Director of Transportation Planning and Development in the Dallas District. I started that role in January, transitioned out of the Denton County Area Engineer toward the end of the month. And so I've been in this role a couple months now and really still getting my feet up underneath me. So I want to start with safety. If you're not aware of our In the Street campaign, please make yourself aware of it. It's really important to TxDOT and really important to citizens of Texas. There's a lot of numbers on here, but basically we're seeing those trends of the crashes and incidents on the roads continue to increase, and we've got to continue to arrest that. And our goal from our commission is to end that streak. So if you're not aware, since 2001, every day there's a death on the state system, and that's just the state roadways in the state of Texas. So every single day we have had that streak. It's a terrible streak to continue, and we really want to work to eliminate that. So some of that is all the work that we do in this room, our design, our forgiving roadways, our forgiving roadsides, updating the current safety standards. It's the work that our construction inspectors do, keeping our work zone safe and making sure our traffic control is properly implemented. And it's our maintenance teams out there every day working on our roadways, ensuring that our SGTs, our guardrail, our crash cushions, they're all replaced after they're impacted. But a lot of it is going to come down to communication and working with the folks that you know. So the main message I want to get out of here today, talk to the people you know, talk to the drivers, stay off their phone, pay attention to the road, and be defensive in driving, avoid speeding, and those kind of things. So when we work together, we can get to that mission zero that we're working towards. But again, if you're not aware of the campaign, please take a few minutes, talk to your family about it. That's the most important thing, is just getting the word out there that it is real and it impacts folks every day. All right, so moving on, TxDOT. So if you're not aware of TxDOT, we've got 25 districts in the state of Texas. We are the Dallas district, and we've got, so Fort Worth and Dallas are split in this immediate metro area. So we've got Dallas district, we're Denton, Collin, Dallas, Rockwall, Kaufman, Ellis, and Navarro. We've got over 11,000 lane miles and over 5 million people in the Dallas district. So again, that's not including all the Tarrant County and the Fort Worth district. We've got over 900 employees with TxDOT Dallas district. I believe we just went to 910. So within our district, 25 districts statewide, within our district, we've got 5 area offices. We've got Denton County, Amanda Miller. She's the new Denton County area engineer. She was previously our Dallas County area engineer. So she's continuing to do excellent work in our Denton County office. We've got Jennifer Vorster. She's our Collin County area engineer. Dallas County, and he hasn't been fortunate enough to get the picture yet, but Dallas County is going to be Nathan Petter. He was the assistant area engineer in Dallas County. He's our new Dallas County area engineer. Rockwall Kaufman is Lane Selman, and then Ellis Navarro is Juan Paredes. So they make up kind of the boots on the ground, focusing construction and maintenance, and also preparing your projects that we're working on for moving utilities and going to construction ultimately. So within the district, so we're out of the district office in the TP&D department. So TP&D is Transportation Planning and Development. We're one of the 3 directors in the district. So we've got the folks shown on the screen, and kind of run through those. We've got our right-of-way group under Jenny Hoodman. We've got our bridge section under Ray Fisher. Dan Purge leads our environmental group that's focusing on our environmental clearance. Tamala Spillman, she's supervisor of our ATP group. So that's our advanced transportation planning. They're the money folks. They make sure we got money. Right now, our roadway design section, our roadway design engineer for the district is vacant. So that position is open if we're plugging open positions today. It is open right now. And then we have Ashton Strong. She runs our project delivery office. In addition to Teresita and Melissa, who support us in our portfolio management, organizing our projects, and then also in our public involvement. We've got a little over 140 people in TP&D working through our projects. All right, so let's dive into the good stuff. So construction projects. So what we've got going on right now, one of the biggest projects is our Irving interchange. At the time, it was one of our biggest design bid builds. So it was a traditional let project. It's going to be quickly surpassed by some other projects around the state, but also some more projects in the district as projects grow in size and scope and also inflation. But at the time when it was one of the largest design bid builds TxDOT had ever worked on, a little over $300 million. It's the old Texas Stadium site. If you've been out there, Irving's got a signature bridge that was adjacent, that was part of another project. So they've got a lot going on reconfiguring this area. Looking to be complete in 2024. So it's moving along. It's reconstructing all the interchanges at 183, 114, and Loop 12 in kind of that area. So a lot coming in, a lot of freeways, reconstructing frontage roads in the interchanges and the DCs. All right. Moving along, LBJ East. That's another one that I'm sure impact quite a few of you. That is a design build project. Right now, they're estimating completion in 2025. That is a 1.7 billion with a B project. It's a very large widening. So it's widening the main lanes on 635, reconstructing the interchanges, reconstructing Skillman Arch. It's got several utility bridges that go across the freeway. There was a lot going in on the front end, the coordination with transmission. There was transmission lines that ran adjacent. So there's a lot going on in this corridor. Again, I'm sure many of you drive it every day. In addition to some grandfathered toll managed lanes that were out there rebuilding in the middle too. So there's quite a bit going into this freeway. It is a full reconstruction. I guess toward the south end, as a highlight too, is the I-30 interchange with 635 is also being reconstructed. And if it's not one you visited recently, there's a lot of progress being made. And a lot of the DCs are getting close, and some of them are actually in operation that have been switched over from the original interchange. So very large project under construction as we speak. All right, 35E Phase II. So this is kind of the next one. This is another design build project. They are just now starting to turn dirt. So if you've driven through this corridor, this is from 35E, 635 on the north end of Dallas County up to the Denton County line. You've seen a lot of dirt turning, a lot of that's utilities being moved and preparing for construction. So they are just now beginning those construction activities. This one was a $709 million project. And so the design is substantially complete while they're removing those utilities, and construction should be getting started this spring. All right, moving along here. SM Wright. So this is in Dallas County. This was a traditional design bid build project. This was let $79 million. Construction is about 70% complete. This is a really interesting one for us. So it's a removal of a freeway. So it's, if you're familiar with this area, when you were coming northbound on 175, you went up on this little stretch of freeway before you tied into I-45 northbound right south of downtown. So now there's a new direct connect from 175 that ties you into 45 a little further south. And what this project is going in is rebuilding, taking the old freeway section out that's no longer being utilized and rebuilding a boulevard at ground level. So there was a lot of coordination with the city of Dallas, a lot of aesthetics that went into this project, a lot of work with our community and our partners in the region to kind of knit those street grids back together. So a really exciting project. There's some work on the north end that kind of ties some of those MLK, a few of the local streets to the interstate on 45 a little further north. But this project's about 75% complete, and again, a very unique one for us. All right, moving along, I-20 at US 67. So this is adding frontage roads, specifically the bridges over US 67 on I-20. It's a $79 million project. This is another design bid build. It's about a third of the way complete. Some very long structures going across US 67 here. So if you're ever traveling out, you'll see kind of the forest of columns as those frontage roads are crossing over all the interchange at US 67. But it's rebuilding the frontage roads, adding the frontage roads currently, and helping to add access to that area so that, you know, spurring development. All right, here we go. Northaven Pedestrian Bridge. This is another unique one. This is on US 75. It is south of Loop 12. So we are working in conjunction with the city of Dallas. So this is part of their park and their trail system that's connecting to the Northaven trail system. And then to the east, it goes to White Rock Lake. And so this is a pedestrian only bridge. On the west side, it's got the turnstile movement. You can kind of see in the bottom left there, where you'll ramp up and you'll go over. And then it's got a little smooth feathered landing, I guess, that goes out to the White Rock Creek on the east side. This is a very unique bridge. It's got vertical, horizontal alignment curves in the middle of going across the freeway. Very unique aesthetics. It's got a mesh-like railing system, so it will be a very eye-catching structure when it's completed. And it'll be really nice for the folks trying to cross the freeway. So we're working in partnership with the city of Dallas to get this project done, as well as the North Central Texas Council of Governments, who's a big part of this one. So that's kind of what we've got going on in Dallas County. And that, again, really focusing in on Dallas County today. We could speak for several hours about all of our other counties. Coming from Denton, there's a lot of work going on in Denton as well, but kind of honing in on one county, or else I would put y'all to sleep in here today. So moving into what we have coming in the immediate future. This is a big one. This is our I-30 Canyon project. So this is going to reconstruct and widen the I-30 main lanes from 35E on the west side to 45 on the east side. So if you've been in that area, it's colloquially called the Canyon. There's a lot of movements. There's a lot of weaving that has to happen. There's semi-collectors that get you on certain parts of the roadway. So a lot of that is being reconfigured. The ramping is being reconfigured. We got our environmental clearance winter 2020. We've got 100% of the right-of-way purchased. We're about 60% of our design complete. Utility relocation is ongoing. We're targeting to be complete at the end of this year. This is a $490 million project. So we talked about surpassing our own with our own inside the Dallas district. This is one of them. This is a very large project coming. There is 2 railroads. We've got DART and we've got Union Pacific. So those are a big challenge. Real estate is tight, obviously, in this area. So working very closely with our partners at the railroad to make sure we're accommodating what they need. In addition to working very closely with the city of Dallas, they've got their convention center and they're exploring options for aesthetics and what they can do with this corridor that will remain kind of depressed through there like it is today. So they're looking at their street grid system on top of it and seeing how they're going to continue to enhance this area. So very exciting project, very needed project that is moving forward very rapidly. Moving a little bit to the east, we've got I-635 and US 80. So you've got 3 big segments here. The blue is what's coming first. That's the I-635 US 80 interchange. So this project is reconstructing and widening the US 80 main lanes from 4 to 6 and reconstructing the I-635 80 direct connectors. So again, that's kind of that light blue in that area. We've got our environmental clearance. We've got our right-of-way purchase. The design is almost done. Again, targeting in this year for utilities to be complete. And this is another $259 million project. That's only the blue. And then I think the next slide hits the other segments. So segment 1, segment 3, segment 1's 123 million. Segment 3 is 213 million. Again, you can kind of see on our typical section, bottom left, we're adding main lanes as well as reconstructing and widening those frontage roads. So projects and planning. So kind of looking a little further out, we've got East Corridor. So we just hit either side of this with projects that are a little further in the production. We've got this project in the middle. That's our I-30 East Corridor. So it basically runs from 45 to 635. So schematic is near completion. Again, working very closely with the city of Dallas. We're meeting with folks like the Deep Ellum Foundation. We're meeting with Fair Park and those areas and understanding what their vision is for the future, how they see the freeway servicing them and their industries in that area, and understanding what we need to do to kind of help knit the communities and be a good partner in that region. So we're meeting very often with the folks on this project to kind of get a path forward. And I think I've got some more slides on it. Schematic is near completion. Environmental is near completion as well. So you can kind of see a rendering. We're looking at depressing more of the freeway, similar to Canyon, again, to help kind of reknit some of the streets on top of it. And then there's just some more pictures. There's some imagery and renderings of partial roundabouts over the freeway and kind of a T, things like that, unique ways to get the roads across us. All right, next one. So the next one is I-345, which is what we talked about the last time I was here. This project has wrapped the feasibility study. We are advancing this project to the schematic environmental. And what the feasibility recommended was what we call our hybrid option. So what this is depressing I-345 through the area. And what this allows us to do is, again, reknit and connect the street grid on top of us. So rather than, why we call it a hybrid, rather than a depressed freeway like you would think of on 75 or Canyon, rather than a depressed, we would typically envision the frontage roads running alongside of that. This one will utilize that street grid, and that's why we're kind of calling it that hybrid. Rather than having the frontage roads on either side, utilizing the street grid on top of it, which allows us to also free up some right of way for other uses if so deemed in the future. So really excited about this project. You've got kind of a rendering there of what it could look like. Got to start our schematic environmental and work through that process, but excited the feasibility study is complete and that we were able to kind of wrap a lot of that coordination. And we're looking forward to continue coordination with all the partners in this area. That there's a lot of folks interested in this, and we want to make sure we're good stewards of their interest and as well as the regional mobility that I-345 serves. Next on the list is Lower Stemmons. So this is a traffic analysis and feasibility study is how it started. That is complete. So we are starting our schematic environmental. So this will work again to try to stay. A right-of-way was a big push on this project because there's not a lot of right-of-way or real estate in this area. It's very developed, and so we're looking to see what we can do inside of our existing footprint. I think we've minimized the right-of-way as much as we possibly could. We've looked at a lot of traffic modeling, a lot of operations through this corridor to understand what kind of improvements we can make and see how we can make it flow better to kind of build on some of the success that we've had on that Lower Stemmons project. So this will go from downtown up to the 183 corridor. So I think that is about it. I got several questions walking in about one project, so I did want to bring that up. So US 75 technology lanes, that one's been buzzing. We have a public hearing for that on Thursday this week, March 16th. And so what that project is constructing these technology lanes on the US 75 corridor from 635 to SRT. And the idea behind those is for 22 hours a day, that technology lane is open to the general public and becomes another lane on the freeway. And then depending on which direction you're going in the peak of that day, it becomes a managed lane in the extent of that it's only allowed for HOV, high occupancy vehicles, low emission vehicles and motorcycles. So only for 2 hours a day will it be limited. The rest of the day it will be open to the general public. What that really means for folks is the pylons that are on US 75 will be gone. It will be striped out with kind of a different designation for that technology lane. And there'll be signs kind of telling folks what they can do. So really excited about that project. I think there's folks in the region they're really excited to see something be improved and move forward on that corridor. So again, if you're interested, public hearing is March 16th. So looking forward to that one. I think that kind of wraps it. I'm just asking questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have plenty of time for questions.
Roll through it. Yes, sir. So that's a good question. You can follow up with me. I don't know off the top of my head now, but I can get with our area engineer and find out. Yes. $45 or $30? $345, the connection. Yes. Yes. Correct. It is. It is. What was that? Correct. So we're looking to accomplish a lot of goals. One, we've got to maintain regional connectivity. So that's the interstate and the traffic itself, but also working with the community and understanding what they want to do with that area. And so by going below, we're helping accommodate remitting a lot of that street grid on top of us, which allows for pedestrian improvements and an expanded street grid system and things like that to get, the downtown over into the Deep Ellum and vice versa. Again, working with our community partners and understanding kind of what they're wanting to do with that corridor. Yeah, that's part of that feasibility study. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Mhm. I'm sure they exist. I don't have those with me today, unfortunately. But what I can say, we review every fatality in the district. We have a monthly meeting, where we have leaders in our district, we get together and we understand, we review every one of them. Let's see if there is any infrastructure that plays a part in that. And those are reviews as part of that effort. And so, you know, I think as the numbers go up, we don't want to, one is too many. And so a lot of what we see is kind of things we watched at the beginning is drunk driving and late night driving, things like that, and especially distracted driving. And so we want to make sure we're getting that message, but we are reviewing every one of them to see if there is infrastructure impacts and seeing what modifications could be made to make them more forgiving, more exciting as well. Okay.
We've got a question online from Kenneth. He says, on the I-35 expansion or 35E expansion, will that include making the tollway two-way? Now it switches morning and night. 35E expansion, yes.
So 35E expansion will most likely, so that's that phase two piece. It'll most likely keep it what it is today and maintain that because there's the north and south of it is going to remain the same. So it will accommodate for the future, but it will maintain what is out there today.
You started your presentation with a picture of fatalities in there. Highway Department used to have a slogan, speed kills. They regularly measure going 100 miles an hour on Interstate 20 down there. Y'all have any effect on what the speed limit should be? I think it should be no more than 60 within an urban area anywhere. But then y'all don't enforce it, so why bother?
A lot of layers to the question. But you know, I think from the speed limit point of view, we've got folks in traffic operations that review our speed limits and understand how traffic is behaving and adjust those accordingly. We do monitor them closely out in the area office. Before I took the position I'm in, I worked very closely with our local governments when they had modifications there, like if they had development come in that might have changed the traffic pattern, and understand, do we need to go out and do a new traffic counts and new study to maybe modify the speed? So we were fine tuning that speed pretty regularly at the area office level, monitoring what changes were coming. And obviously that's not as in, you know, on the interstate, you don't have as many of the direct impacts like you do on like an FM that gets developed and maybe changes those patterns. But we do monitor those speed limits closely and work with the local governments to update those counts and those studies when needed. I hope that, I don't know if that answered your question, but.
Given that the project is situated in a very crowded infrastructure area, were there any cases of any statutory clearance from the federal government which delayed the project?
So I think the question was, is there anything that can delay the project?
Yeah, anything from the federal government, like in a previous session of branch meeting, there was a project where there were blockades from the federal government due to the railway line. So did this project face any similar issue?
So it's our job in planning and development to hopefully avoid any of those blockages or anything that would stop the project from moving forward. So we follow kind of a well-oiled process that works through our environmental clearance, schematic footprint, environmental clearance. We purchase our right of way and then we move utilities. So to be very realistic, the utilities are what's going to have the biggest impact on the project. And so working with utility owners, there's a lot, they've got their own budgets, they've got their own workforce issues, they've got their own stresses with cost and availability of getting teams out there. So we do our best to inform them early. We have projects coming. We do our best to get the layouts to them as soon as we can. But working with the utilities to get the corridors clear, that's really the biggest, I guess, roadblock, if you will, that we're trying to overcome and making sure that we're clear by the time we're supposed to go to construction. You've also got railroad challenges that they've got a lot of specific design criteria that we've got to work with them very closely to meet. But those are really the two that would impact us more than anything. Thank y'all very much. I really appreciate your time.